Good morning. Last night I got a message about help, somebody's having a migraine. Migraines are very complicated just because a bunch of people show up with chronic headaches. They can look very many different ways and they can be from very many different things. So there's no quick flash fix for migraines, maybe for a migraine at that moment. The thing about all of us is we all have constitutional propensities that lead us to present in certain ways and our symptoms coming out in certain ways. So when I say constitutional propensity, it's like you are born with a specific blueprint that allows those symptoms to come out in those ways. So for instance, in Chinese medicine, we talk about patterns. Nothing is like a disease diagnosis. It's like these are the patterns in your life and the patterns in your body that create this specific outcome. So let's say one of the patterns is heat in the blood. It's a pretty serious pattern, so I don't know why I picked that one. But let's say it's heat in the blood for anything, and one person comes out with like carbuncles or like really gross sores like on their face. Another person gets like headaches. Another person gets canker sores in their mouth. Another person's eyes get really bloodshot red. Those are all heat symptoms, but in every different person, they're coming out in different ways because every person is different, but they have the same pattern. That's very different from a Western diagnosis model where a headache anywhere in the head that's, for a certain amount of time, that has a certain intensity, all these lists of symptoms would be categorized as a pathology. So it's just a different way of looking at things. So migraines. I would say probably there are a couple types of migraines in my experience that I deal with a lot in clinic. One is yang rising, liver yang rising, gallbladder meridian comes right here, and the gallbladder is responsible for processing fats. So oftentimes people get migraines in America because we eat a lot of food that is rich in saturated fats, and our gallbladders are all stuffed up. It's on the right side. I don't know if it's back or reverse on my video. Your gallbladder gets backed up. Myself personally, I eat very cleanly, but I was raised eating a lot of chili and cheese and lots of delicious, heavy, damp tortilla, lots of heavy food. And when I overdo it on the heavy food, and God forbid I have a couple of beers on top of that, it like wells up. And it's like, and I can feel it in my gallbladder meridian on the side. So eating toxic foods is one way to check your migraines if you have an excess migraine that comes from eating too many rich toxic foods. The other thing is liver yang rising, and the liver and the gallbladder are paired meridians, so they can share symptoms on meridians, and then also a vertex headache is said to be a liver thing. Your liver is responsible for metabolizing toxins in your body. So a migraine could also come from liver things. But when we talk about liver, when we talk about gallbladder, when we talk about organs in Chinese medicine, we're always talking about the philosophical concept of the organ as well. So it's not just the material tissues and cells of the organ, it's also the consciousness of the organ. So the consciousness of the liver is anger. The emotional consciousness of the liver can be anger, but the opposite of that is right action. So oftentimes you'll see people, if they get really angry, migraine. And that's generally not people who have a space to express their anger healthily, like they go to the gym a lot, or they do kickboxing, or they have like a singing practice, or they do something. For me, when I play my cajon, like it lets it all out. But some people don't have an outlet, so they get triggered and rise, liver yang rising, okay? So in that grain, something that can really help migraines that are from yang rising is grounding the energy. So you can do that by doing a nice warm foot bath. You can massage your feet. I often give patients a prescription to massage their feet and do warm foot baths, especially with migraines. And that can be really helpful, or just like massaging down the legs. And the gallbladder meridian is the only meridian that runs back and forth along the body as opposed to just the front and just the back. So like even rubbing the sides of the body, rubbing the gallbladder, rubbing the liver, moving downward can help. Now another one which is something that I think a lot of people don't realize in our society, is we get deficiency of blood. And what that means isn't like so much like a diagnosis of anemia. It's like one of my teachers described it as if your blood cells are an army. In anemia, they'll diagnose you for having like less soldiers, less blood count, less red blood cells. But in a Chinese medicine perspective, you're actually looking at the strength of the specific blood cells. So you have these big, robust army dudes as opposed to like army people. And your red blood cells, or your blood, becomes tonified or augmented, added to by the foods that you eat. So because we generally have foods, a diet that's really rich in starches, carbohydrates, heavy, what we call phlegm foods, we're doing a lot of that, but actually not nourishing ourselves really well with foods that are rich in vitamins and minerals. Blood building foods. So these are dark things like berries and beets and seaweed and black beans and black sesame seeds and blueberries, anything that's deep and dark, eggplant. And when you eat those, they give you nutritive matter and they build your blood. So when we have headaches that are our whole head, and it feels good with pressure, that's generally a blood deficient headache. And the only way to really help that in the long term is to give yourself more nourishment. So those are the ones that are coming to me right now as far as helping yourself. Oh, another one. And then we just have tension. There's actually tension headaches. Yes, we're emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual beings. And there are different levels that we have to address at different times. So sometimes somebody comes into me and we'll have to like go deep into their consciousness. Sometimes they come in and I just have to rub their neck a little bit. You know, it just depends on where they're at the moment. So especially people with desk jobs, people with kids, people like having to carry stuff, it's so easy to get everything up in here. So you just gotta give yourself a little neck rub. You can also do an exercise that's like, you let it come down and then you come up. And you could just do that like a few times with your inhales and your exhales. It feels better already, and I just did it like 1 or 2 times. So it's just a few little things. I also want to throw in there, there are people that can help you with these things, okay? There are massage therapists, there are licensed acupuncturists, there are energy workers, body talkers, different kinds of healers in your communities that can help you with this. So try to help yourself as best as possible. Helping yourself looks like observing your symptoms, observing your actions with regard to your symptom. So, oh man, I have a headache. What did I eat? Where did I go? Who did I see? What did I dream? How did I move my body? All of these things are going to give you pieces into how you can heal yourself. Healthcare is really about observation, and it's about taking responsibility for our actions so that we can understand what we are doing to contribute to our illnesses and how we can be agents in healing our illnesses. So question, comment, anybody who has anything to add, we're all here to learn together, and subscribe and share with your friends who get migraines, and I am available for treatments and consultations one-on-one for particular people, all for your personal constitution. So I hope you have a great day. I'm off to cook Trishan at the Grow House in Denver, cooking healthy food for wellness care. Woo, 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 yeah. Peace.